Hello guys, hello. Welcome back to the Big Fat Psychic channel. I'm so pleased to be reading again for you today. Okay, we have got some cracking videos, haven't we, today? Let's have a look then. BetterUp, a response to Harry's drug fest confessions. Okay, I mean, that can't be good. What about them young kids, with the mental health on online media and social media? Do you remember where they was all sat there? I mean, what, well, I'm going to cover the lot because, this is all like giving a bad impression. If you do something and it works for you, that's fine. But if it, I don't know. I don't think preaching drugs is okay to children or vulnerable people neither, okay? I mean, that ayahuasca, I believe, I've read some stuff and I must admit, I thought, ooh, I could do a bit of that. Going over there, though, staying for, 7 days and just everything bare, spiritually. And I thought, oh, right, yeah, I might go for it. I don't think so, because it could give you there's a lot of negative stuff if not handled correctly. And basically, it would be a case of a bad trip on acid. So, no, my brain is, my mind can be dark and light at the same time. I don't fancy that. So, there is definitely other ways of dealing with trauma as well, like I say, I mean, I've never known anything like it. I really haven't. And if it had been anybody else, it'd have been cancelled. Do you remember when I said to you, he might have trouble if he leaves the States and going back in? Well, something to do with his visa. Well, that didn't include, recommending drugs to everybody. Anyway, come on, BetterUp. Let's see. How did BetterUp feel regarding Harry's latest interview where he got diagnosed with ADD? Yeah, hun, you need to add up. Okay. Right, what was their response? What did they think? Well, I kind of get like they are in partnership, really, because he's still representing them, and it's like they kind of feel it's a benefit. Okay, a benefit financially. I'm not seeing problems here. I'm seeing about they knew about it. There was forewarned about it, and now he's got an ADD. He can go to BetterUp who can help him. That's how I feel. So all of a sudden, BetterUp is now, diversifying into other relationships. Now, the fact that bloke didn't mention personality disorder, well, it makes the whole thing a fraud. Okay, so how did they feel about Harry, talking about all the different drugs and the difficulties he's had? I mean, for all, right, I ain't joking, every drug he's had, every tablet, every therapist, every session, and no freaking good, it has not worked, okay? He is not functioning for himself, he's not thinking for himself, he's not addressed his own issues, and he's made no progress, okay? There is no progress. He can sit there and tell me he's happy until his dying days, okay? But I know different, and you know different. Everybody else knows different, apart from Harry. So yeah, I'd want my money back on all things like that. How did BetterUp feel about Harry confessing about drug use and how it's helped him? Yeah, they weren't happy about that. Okay, so you're gonna think that BetterUp don't make a comment on this, but they actually are not happy with Harry for this. So they're going along with him, making out that they're okay about it because they already pre-warned him. But really, they're not. Now, I know a little about lying, okay, because I did work in, with fraud, benefit fraud. So we had some skills that we learnt and excellent training, I'll have to say. So what I learned was that when somebody gives you something, and they're quick to give you it. So Harry's quick to give us the marijuana. It amazes me how bloody many names there is for that one thing. But anyway, yeah, so, he's given us that. He gave us the cocaine as well and took it back, Oh, it wasn't no good for me. So he's admitted to using it, but saying that he didn't use it and it was no good for me. That's not true. That's a lie. The fact that he gave us the marijuana in front head and very, very easily, as if it was condoned and allowed, So yeah, that's just bad, isn't it? That's just bad. He's lying there, okay? So I'm sure any body language person can see that, how he's give you something that he thinks, is big enough to give you and distract you from the usage of cocaine. So, that's how I would see it. That's what I would read the lies. And I've worked with people, and it's like there's so much detail that they give. You think, oh, it has to be true. But in actual fact, the natural reaction for saying something is very quick, without detail, and like in a normal tone. Liars tend to elaborate and go into great detail and the story before and a follow-up with the story after, and they don't see that they're doing it. They don't see that they're doing it. Now, you don't just need training. You can take that and you'll know. Just look out. Too much information, it's not really going to be true, is it? Truthful people don't have to say much at all. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to invent stories, before and after. And this is what Harry's done. He's lying about the cocaine. How often does Harry, is Harry telling the truth about his limited use of cocaine? Is he? No, and guess what? He's not the only sniffer in the house, I tell you now, I tell you now. You see, he don't want you to get a bad impression. Well, he's already given us one, but, he doesn't want, so it's okay to do ayahuasca, to do everything else, LSD, whatever, and it's not all right, and that marriage, oh, I can't even say it today. Weed. That's it. Weed, and he's smoking that weed. Yeah, he didn't want to give, he's lying, and he doesn't want you to think bad of him. You are totally, underestimating us. We can't stand you. Okay, so what else? BetterUp. How does Harry feel about him confessing everything, on that show? Well, I think in a way he wishes he hadn't have done something. He definitely didn't want to do something, and he wasn't going to do something. So something on there, really, I'm getting a bit of upsetment. How did, Meghan feel about Harry's confession, regarding drug use? Yeah, it's like, it involves her, so he had to make clear that it wasn't her smoking, the weed. He had to say that, she didn't approve, you know. And the cocaine, well, they're both in it together, and she smokes it as well. She didn't want to give the game away, you know. She was expecting Harry to sacrifice himself all the time, you know, to make out she's a saint and he's a sinner. Does Meghan smoke weed and take cocaine and any other drugs? Does she take any? Right, so I would say she absolutely does, but do you know what? I'm getting that the sea does not agree with her at all and could make her violent. I've never known people who smoke weed to become violent apart from in psychosis. Did a stint at the hospital, saw it all. She's I'd say she does, and she don't want people to know about it. So a lot of the things that he's saying he does or has done are also the same things that she's done. Okay, these you have to have common bonds, common factors, common practices, okay, especially in the early days. So if one of you likes going out a lot and getting drunk, the other will follow, you know. I'm not so sure that, you know, that it goes for drugs, okay, but I can imagine, try it, okay. So yeah, she's a nightmare on the sea. And I also, you know, I believe she does smoke the wacky backy. Oh, now all the names are starting to come in now. Let's have a look then. BetterUp, I'll put up with anything. They will. BetterUp puts up, you know, and that's how I feel. So will Harry's latest admissions affect his visa? I'd say so. I would say so, and it comes as no small surprise. It's not a big whopping one, but it is something that Harry didn't foresee when he was doing this. Do you know what? In a way, I can't help. I've noticed a pattern with him, and he just seems to be wanting to get kicked out. You know, he does. He wants to be kicked out, and I just think, otherwise you wouldn't say these things. I mean, even he must know the rules, of such a thing. So I think we've got problems, and I think I mentioned that before. You know, there is a chance he could, if he goes out, not return, because he's going to get slapped and sent home. So, and do you know the first place he would go to? Canada. He'd go to Canada. What will be the outcome for Harry regarding his visa status, okay, because of all his drug admissions? What will be the consequence for him? What will be the outcome? Well, you know, this is a card where you can be arrested. You can be arrested. You can be deported as well. You know, so I don't know. Was this Meghan's plan all along to insist on, being in the States and getting Harry thrown out, you know, to cause a reason for separation? This wouldn't surprise me at all. And as well, I think there's not just a backlash there, but, you know, with the visa, I think there's problems from elsewhere. Look at that. Oh. You know, there were so many right ways of doing things. Do you know, I can't believe that Harry is so dim-witted enough not to see these things occurring. But maybe, you know, he's life as a royal has afforded him that, so he's never had to worry, and he's got other people, I mean, was he smoking wacky backy when the Met Police was around, I mean, God, that's unbearable. I'm not even going to ask, okay? I'm not even... Oh, go on then. So, does Harry's security, have they witnessed Harry taking drugs before? I got real heavy, slumped over, I see him, passed out, in loads of states. Yeah, they had to stay with him, they had to stay with him. There'll have been all sorts, him taking him back. His dad would have not known what was coming next, or, oh no, not again, darling boy. He had enough space. He had enough space, but with still people around supporting him. So, did the Metropolitan Police ever... did the Met Police officers know or suspect Harry was using illicit substances? Well, I'm not going to tell you what I see. Cause yeah, I do. Okay, they was with him. So even I'm getting like Harry would get people to score for him. I'm not saying that that's the Met Police, but I'm telling you, while the police was around, this was done. This was done. So should Harry leave the USA and then try to return, will he be let in, or would there be trouble? Well, in a way, I feel like, yeah, I would at this point, okay, I would at this point say that he'll definitely be allowed to travel. Right, so he'll definitely be allowed to travel as a wanderer. Will Harry be able to return to the US? Will he be... how do I say this? Once he leaves, once our Harry is travelled, will he be allowed back in once he's left the country? He doesn't see something. He doesn't see it coming, okay? Now, I imagine we've got, like, maybe a trip or 2 trips, and then the voices get louder and louder about Harry regarding this. And, I mean, mental health people are going to go for him. They will be wait and see what to do, okay? So I don't see of making the mind up right now, but it all depends, all you need is somebody. I mean, you could be put on the list, of course, but all you need is somebody to have heard that and then to be at the security in the States, and they do. If you don't declare things and stuff like that, they are so quick just to send you away. So I do see that this idiot will try and use his position, but let's see how much support he has in the future. And one last card. Is Meghan setting Harry up for a big fall? She's building. I'm not saying she's ready, but she's definitely building. So Harry, how she recorded and wrote down everything with their family. she's doing it with you and has been. So she's got a lot of stuff. But right now, it's about getting her own way, using this to get her own way with Harry. Okay, right, that's it from me. I'll be back soon with another reading. Bye now. Bye-bye.